Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Brimlow, and today I would like to talk to you about how to apply what we've learned about circles to real world situations. So if you have the packet, you can turn to page 13. I apologize that these are not numbered, but page 13 looks like this, and we're going to do these first three problems together. If you don't have the packet, I've linked this PDF to Canvas so you can print it out and go along with me. So once again, we're looking at some application problems today, specifically circumference and area. We're going to fill in all the information. We're going to use 3.14 for pi, and we're going to make sure our answers are rounded to the nearest hundredth. I will be using a highlighter for this. If you have colored pencils or crayons, that would work as well. You could also just underline or box, whatever you're comfortable with, but we do need to pick out information in the word problem, so you should have a tool that you'd like to use. When I'm approaching any word problem, I always like to read through it first and then go back and highlight the information needed to solve the problem. So let's go ahead and start with this problem number 1. Susan has a circular vegetable garden. She also has bunnies that like to eat her vegetables. Susan decided to buy a fence to put around her garden and measured the diameter to be 12 feet. How much fencing should she buy? All right, so let's go back into the problem and highlight or box or underline the important information. So circular vegetable garden. The reason I'm highlighting this, even though we know it's in the shape of a circle, is because we're going to be moving into working with shapes other than circles. So it's really important to figure out specifically for circles how we can tell what shape we're working with. So they, in this case, use the word circular. We're talking about a fence that goes around the garden and it has a diameter of 12 feet. Okay. So now I have to decide, am I looking for circumference or am I working with area? So in this case, I am working with circumference. And I know this because we're talking about around the garden. So we're talking about the distance around, which is circumference. If they use something like the word area or square blank or space, then I know I'd be talking about area. But in this case, when we're talking about the distance around, we're talking circumference. And they tell us that the diameter is 12 feet. Okay. So now I can go ahead and set this up and solve. So we always start with our formula. In this case, for circumference, we're going to use pi times diameter. So that is 3.14 times 12. I'm going to pull up my calculator. So pi times 12 is 37.68 feet. This is already rounded to the nearest hundredth. Hundredths place is 2 digits after the decimal point. So we have tenths, then we have hundredths, and we need to make sure we label. And it's just feet because we're not talking about space or square something. So it would just be feet. All right, next problem. Mark needs a new bicycle tire. He found the radius of his old tire is 16 inches. How many inches around is his new tire? So bicycle tire tells us the shape we're working with is a circle. We know that the radius is 16 inches, and we want to know how many inches around. Okay. So once again, when we're talking about around a circle, we're talking about the circumference. And they give us a radius of 16 inches. So we're looking for circumference again, but this time we're going to use our formula given the radius. So 2 times the radius times pi. So 2 times the radius, which is 16, times pi, we're using 3.14. So I'm going to go ahead and use my calculator. 2 times 16 times pi is 3.14 is 100.48 inches. It's already rounded to the nearest hundredth, and we have our label with the units they used, so we are all set. So once again, for when you're solving these application problems, I am looking for the formula. I'm looking for you to substitute in the information, and I'm looking for a labeled answer. You can do all of these steps at one time since you're just multiplying, so you don't have to show every single time you multiply or divide, but I want to see the numbers substituted into your formulas correctly, and I need labels on answers. Okay. All right, last one. Malik bought a 14-inch pizza. How many square inches of pizza is there for him and his friends to share? So 14-inch pizza, square inches. Okay. So when we're talking about square inches or square anything, we're talking about area, we're talking about the space. Now let's talk about the 14-inch because they didn't say if that's diameter or radius. So when you order a pizza from any pizza place, they'll either say small, medium, or large, or they'll actually give the measurements. And typically, even when they offer small, medium, or large, you're going to notice that they have some sort of measurement, typically in inches, 10 inches, 12 inches, 16, 20. And when they're talking about that measurement, they're talking about the diameter, the distance across the pizza. That's just standard how they do it. So the distance across the pizza is 14 inches. So they gave us diameter, which is 14 inches. However, when we're working with area, we need radius. So that would be 7 inches. Okay. So area is pi times radius squared. 3.14 times 7 squared. So this is going to be pi times 7 again, which is 153.86 inches squared. So in this unit, I need to square it because we're talking about the space of the pizza, the area it occupies. So 153.86 inches squared. Okay. So go ahead and take a look at Canvas to see what your practice options are for word problems working with area and circumference. If you have any questions, let me know, and